Create the life you love and have the courage to live it. That is one of my favorite quotes. It's by John Irving, and it inspires today's topic on the power of our daily routine. Today, I'm sharing mine with you. I hope you find this topic helpful. If you're feeling like it's time for a change and you really want to put yourself into the driver's seat of your life, I think you're going to like this episode. Hey, it's Ange Peters, and welcome to Whole Fit Talks, a weekly broadcast streaming live on the Whole Fit Facebook page. So excited to have you join us as we jam on living, loving, and leading a supernatural life. Welcome, you guys. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. I had to reboot the computer. Hello, welcome live. Yes, keep saying hello. Let me know you're here. Let us know if you're here for the first time. Hello, Instagram. We're streaming over there, dual streaming as well. So if you lose the broadcast in one of those places, you can either hop over to Instagram or come join us on the Facebook brand page, where it will stream even if we go past an hour. I don't think it will today. My goal is to keep this more concise through this series. Let me pull up my notes for you guys today. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. All right. Well, let's dive in. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Wednesday, November 7th. I can't believe it's November 7th already. This month is probably going to fly by for most of us. And the topic of today's show is pretty timely, with that theme of things tending to fly by at times. If you are brand new, I'm Ange Peters. I'm the founder of Whole Fit. I'm also a Canadian founder with Doterra Essential Oils. And I do this weekly show almost every Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern to add value to your life. It's completely free. It's a chance for us to connect over the topics of health and wellness and living a holistic life and leadership of yourself, leadership within your home, leadership with your team if you have one. And then I upload the audio for this show to iTunes after, which seems to be the most popular way for a lot of you to tune in. I actually just noticed this week that there were 106 of you that were so kind to hop over to iTunes at some point in the last few months and leave a positive review for the show. And that was just so touching for me to see your comments and the things that you're really appreciating about the content on this show. So thank you so much. If you've been somebody who hopped over there, took some of your precious time to leave a review, your action in doing that and the way that you've been sharing this out with your communities and your friends, it led the Whole Fit Talk show to be number 13 in the charts on iTunes, right there with all of some of my favorite podcasts to listen to, like Rich Roll and Brendan Bouchard and Lewis Howes. We were up there. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for sharing the show out. And it's meaningful for me to spend this time with you. It is definitely one of my most favorite things to do, which, as I'm talking about today's theme, which is the rituals that create the ripple effect in our life and in the lives of those that we love. This is one of those things for me. It means so much to me. It's so fulfilling for me to be here with you each week and to have conversations, not only around the topics that matter, but almost like the underbelly of those topics, what's really going on. I love deep talks. This superficial stuff is the most boring stuff in the world to me, right? I love that we can go deep together on this show. So quick warm up, I guess, for you. As I mentioned last month, this month of November, the topic series all focuses on focus and productivity as a warm up to the launch of my new program called the Beautiful Life Lab. Now you guys can find that if you go to holfit.com. So that's HOL/FIT. Sorry, it's a dash. HOL-FIT.com/Beautiful Life Lab. You'll notice that you can add yourself to the list to be the first to know when this launches. So it's launching December 1st. I'm closing registration December 10th. So I'll give you 10 days to decide if it's for you. And I guess to really help you know if it's for you, you'll know it's for you if you enjoy these topics in November. It's not for everybody. That is for sure. I think there are different approaches in life to create a life that feels good and success as you see success, for you. It doesn't look a certain way for everybody. But I really do feel there are different approaches, and the approach that I'm sharing with you today and through the month of November is my own personal approach to success. What I have found works really well. And if you love these topics in November, you'll love the Beautiful Life Lab. It is a new program that has been birthed out of that Beautiful Life blueprint that I've done with you for the last couple of years, looking over the annual plan. Okay, so if you've done that with me and you like that content, you'll love the lab. We'll be jamming quarterly on your annual plan. It'll be an opportunity for you to have more of a personal experience with me in my Zoom room, talking about these concepts, much of what I'm going over this month on the show. So just real quick, I won't be on live next week, but November 21st, I'll be back with a topic. We're going to talk about how to own a phone. I'm going to actually talk about how we function today in the world of distraction everywhere, like distraction planet we live on today. I'm going to talk about how we actually can function, run our life, run our business when there's so much coming at us. And I'm going to talk about your phone, because it's probably the device that is killing your focus all day long, right? November 28th, the last topic in this series, I'm going to talk about lifestyle cleansing to call in your next season. I'm going to give you the top things to look at in your life to cleanse, to purge, and to prepare for the next season of clarity and action and high energy. Okay, it's going to be a good one. If you've done my Ready, Set, Glow detox, you have been exposed to some of these concepts. I believe that we can look at one area of our life and it can tell us the story that is likely happening in other areas. For example, and again, I'm going to say this a lot today, what I'm saying might not be the truth about everybody's way or approach, okay? What I find, for example, speaking to what I just said, if you look at my car, it will tell you the state of my brain. Anyone else with me? I am meticulous about the condition of my car. I am that person. I mean, I go and pick up the kids from school and they've been playing out in the mud and they get in the car and it's like all I can think about on the drive home. So if you were to ever go for a ride with me and it's a mess, I guarantee you I'm a mess up here. So that's just like one little example I'm sharing. I've paid attention to this over the years. When I look at, if I take a cross section of various things and I look at them in my life, it will, I have found it often reflects the state of my mind. If I have too many tabs open on my computer, I guarantee you I have too many tabs open in my brain. You know what I mean? So anyway, okay. So as I was saying, this topic today, the topic of creating a daily routine. Some of you saw me post my routine about an hour ago over on Instagram. I actually wrote it all out for you. I'm going to speak to that on today's show. But again, disclaimer, this type of conversation is not for everybody. There are certain people that create success and life on their terms in complete flow and randomness. Some of you may be that person. You may not love this topic today. Now, I do find that, first of all, I don't know how you do it because I'm the complete opposite of you if that's how you function. But some people truly do function best in chaos. Like we can all think of people like that. But my approach tends to make people uncomfortable. Okay. I've learned that over the years that the clearer that I am with my time, with my boundaries, with what I'm okay with doing and what I'm not okay with doing, it can really upset other people. Only if for that person, their system is not working. Like, honestly, all the power to you if you can function in chaos and have complete randomness to your schedule. Like every day you wake up and you have no idea what you're doing or how it gets done, but it just gets done. Great, if it's working. So what I always say to people is it's only working for you if it's actually working. If it's not, if your approach is not stressing out your home and your kids and your spouse and your team, right? You have to really look at like how well is it truly working if you believe it's working. And I think only you know if it's not working. And I'm going to explore some of that today. So let me just scroll down here. So let's do this. Okay, so all of this begins, you guys, with having an understanding of what truly matters to you. So what do you need to have in place in order for you to live a beautiful day and to take action as the highest version of yourself? Because if we wake up in the morning and we leave it up to the day or leave it up to how we feel, we are likely not living and taking action from our highest place, okay? So this matters like really big because time goes by so fast. I opened up this broadcast, it's November 7th. It's like, where is the time going? Christmas is going to come. And then before we know it, we're into 2019. Time goes by so fast. And unless you've had an experience in your life where you've had that jolt in your cells of understanding how short life is, maybe you've experienced loss. Unless you've experienced something pretty shattering in your life, you likely do not quite understand the seriousness of what I've just said. That, time is going to fly by. And if you're like just getting by and you're living days where you leave it, you're like, I have no idea where today went, or today was such a drag because of blah, 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 blah. You likely haven't had one of those experiences yet in your life where you've had that wake-up call. Because as somebody, like I have shared this before on the show, this is what governs what I'm sharing with you today, to be honest. I care very much about where I'm spending my time, and I'm not willing to allow things consistently to come between myself and what I care most about. I certainly have days where it happens, but I respond as quickly as possible. I look at, what went wrong today? Where did the train go off the track? What will I do tomorrow or in the future when that same situation arises, to shift very quickly into a state of control? So life can be full of really meaningful things. This is how I look at what I'm sharing with you today. I love all the things I have in my life. On paper, it looks like it's a very full life. You'll never hear me refer to my life as busy, though, because I feel like that busyness is a trap. It's a myth, and it's a story that we tend to tell sometimes, that we don't have enough time. That's not true. And this is a lot of what I'm exploring in the Beautiful Life Lab, that you actually have over 70 hours a week after working full time and getting to work and sleeping. You actually do have a lot of time to create a full, meaningful life, right? So our daily routine, or a typical day in our life, does reflect our deepest beliefs. So I want you to think about that. If you were to look at your if you use a calendar, I'll start there, and you look at your calendar and you see what's on it, it will reflect back to you what is most important to you. And if it doesn't, if the way that you're spending most of your days on paper and in real life, if that does not reflect back to you what is most important to you, then you're going to like this topic. It's time to hit the refresh button, and it's time to approach your day with more design. So I also believe that in doing this, you create boundaries and protection over your time. And for me, I believe that is my greatest gift to my family, to my kids, to my husband, and to my team. As a leader of a very large organization, my greatest gift to my team is my stability and my sense of clear direction where we're going. And a team feels that. A sidebar on leadership, if you have dreams of running a business, leading a movement, such as one in Doterra, let's say you're wanting to lead a micro movement within your community, teaching about essential oils, you really want to learn how to lead yourself first, because you truly will not be given more if you cannot illustrate that you can lead yourself. You cannot lead another person if you cannot lead yourself. There is an absolute connection there. Sometimes we ask for more. We want more rank, more recognition, more money, more. But we're truly not leading our life, and so we're not given that. Does that make sense? Your commitment to figuring this out and to owning your time will be your demonstration that you are ready for more. Okay? People can smell this in you. Okay? If you're talking about one thing on social media, let's say, but people have a sense that you don't have clear direction in your life, or that maybe you're not living what you're saying, they pick that up. They feel that because it comes through in the way you talk about what you do. And so I feel there is so much confidence that comes from creating your life by design and illustrating that you have a deep commitment to leading yourself in such a way that you call in your best every day. Your commitment to that shows people that you are a leader that they want to join and be a part of something with. That is huge. I think that you could honestly ask anyone on my team and they would say, yeah, you know what? That matters. That's a really big deal. They have a sense with me that, I know where I'm going and I can clearly convey that to them because of how I lead my life. Now, honestly, you guys, I have leaders on my team who are the complete opposite of me. They are not even on this call right now because this does not interest them one bit. And that's okay. They find a leader somewhere else that represents more of their belief around this, right? So maybe they prefer to have more randomness to their day. So I just wanted to share that. Again, I'm going to keep coming back to this. There is not one way. I'm speaking my truth today with you and what I have felt has been the secret sauce in creating a meaningful, full, and successful life. Okay? So you do have to define what success looks like for you. You can only do that, right? Because from that place, then you have an idea of what you want to feel like each day, and it's going to direct what you design for yourself based on how you want to feel, what you want to experience, how you want to show up each day, because how you spend your days consistently becomes your life. It becomes what people experience of you as a friend, as a leader, as a spouse. And the cool thing with this, you have the opportunity to write a new script for yourself. You do not have to keep doing things the way you've always done if it's not creating the kind of life that you want to live. And the reason this matters so much, I want to kind of bust one of these myths that subconsciously we carry with us. A lot of people think, oh, if I could just reach that level, or if I could just make that much money, then ... then I would be happy, or then I would be free, or then I would live my best life. This is a trap. I want you to think about, does that story sit somewhere in your mind where you think, if only that, then, right? Because the key to all this is you need to be tapping into that feeling now. This is the big secret, okay? You have to live now. You have to live that joy and that fierce protection of your time around what matters. You have to live that now, because when all that other stuff comes, it's not going to feel any different. You have to live it now. I mean, if I look at one of those metrics, let's say I look at financially. I make more financially now in 1 week than I used to make in an entire year working in a corporate management position. Like, honestly, it was like the most successful thing I could see for myself in my 20s was that. But, I am just as happy today as I was 10 years ago when I launched Whole Fit and was leading, people in their nutrition and fitness, or leading moms through a park in stroller boot camp. I am just as happy today because the goal for me has always been to give my best and to live my best and to feel fulfilled. It was never about money, but the money came and continued to come to free me up so that I could continue to give more of that. Do you know what I mean? It was not backwards. I talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show, but you have to work backwards from where you want to be and see how you can tap into that now and design a day that's going to actually create that for you. One other thing I want to share with you, because I think you're all thinking this. I have not always been this way. I am not, like, if you look at my strengths finder, I don't even know where on the list discipline is for me. No idea. It's definitely not in my top 5. It does not come naturally for me to be disciplined each day. And this is why it's even more important for me to live what I'm talking about today. I have to set myself up for success each day and have a sequence and a blueprint that I follow, because guess what happens if I don't? I will let myself off the hook too quick. There will be a lot of just, no, I don't feel like doing that today, so I'm not going to do that today. And I'm just being honest with you. I do this because I want to set myself up in the best position possible, because it does not come naturally for me to live this way. Does that make sense to any of you? I know myself well enough to know what I need, and that's an example of leading myself, okay? So there's a quote by John Maxwell. I have it typed out in script font over on the inspo section of HOL. If you go over there, it's a pretty quotable. It's by John Maxwell, and he said this is powerful. You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. It will tell the whole story, okay? So, 3 things to keep in mind before I share my routine with you. The energy with which you do the things matters more than doing the things. You'll notice when I share my routine with you, I have bookended my day in a morning and an evening routine to pull out the best in me. Because remember what I just shared with you. If I don't have that routine in place, it doesn't happen. In fact, I'm really hard on myself. If I don't have loving rituals built into my day, something that I work on for a couple of weeks until it becomes a new normal, if I don't have that in place, I will burn myself out. I will work myself to the bone. I will continue to put myself last, and then my family and my team do not get the best of me. Because that's also a trap, thinking that we have to burn out and do all these things and then everyone's happy. No, it's actually the other way around. So in my daily routine that I share with you, you'll notice that I have some really great rituals built in so that I tap into the energy that I want to be in as I do the things. We are human beings, not human doings. So this is why if we're doing things all the time, but we're not in the right, healthy, vibrant energy, we don't have the movement and success that we want to have within doing that thing. So it's important that you look at your rituals and ask, are these truly supporting my vitality? And if it's not, then you need to figure out a way to blueprint rituals to pull out a higher energy within yourself. It is there. You have everything you need. It's right inside. You have everything. You've had those days where you felt really good, right? Your energy was good. You were focused. You took action. That day had some clues in it for you. There were things that you did that day that set yourself up with the best energy. The second thing I want to share is your ability, especially as a business owner, your ability to make fast, clear decisions is really the key to making things happen. Because ideas will come to you all the time, but your ability to have a clear mind and rituals around action in your day are going to cause you to be a strong executor of those ideas. It's very overwhelming to be an idea person and not have rituals within your workday, within your work week for getting stuff done. That feels pretty bad, right? We've all been in that place where we're just, we feel like, again, we're saying that story, I'm just so busy, I never have enough time. It's because you're not giving things the proper time they need. Maybe you're not saying no to enough things. I mean, that's a whole other topic. I actually talked about that in the episode, It Takes a Village to Raise a Vision. I talked about the importance of delegating and automating and deleting things. Number 3, your consistency is what is going to separate you from the 99%. It's about the daily inches, right, guys? Like, we can all think of somebody who's always saying they're going to do something, but they never do it, or they cancel things all the time, or they try something once and then they give up. I have to say, I think some people would think of me and think, she is annoyingly consistent. I challenge myself when I say yes to something and commit to doing something, I will show up and show up and show up again and practice and fail and learn and show up again until I have mastered the thing. Because I think that we evolve along the way. There are things that I was doing 10 years ago that I would totally say no to today, because we evolve, and as we learn, we do better. But there's always the gift of learning through those things, right? And that has been my personal challenge to myself. If I say yes to something, I will do the thing as to the best of my ability. I will show up daily. And this is why I've shared with you, I'm not the girlfriend to text and say, hey, do you want to go for coffee today? I'm probably not even going to write you back the day of, because I have such firm protection and boundaries over my time. And again, this isn't for everybody. And this also upsets people around me at times. But I find when people get upset, it's because it's a mirror for them of their own lack of boundaries and honoring of their own time. So I'm just being straight with you guys. This is not as simple as just constructing a daily plan for yourself, like the one I shared with you today, and I'm going to go through. There are things that are going to come up for you. You have to be prepared to protect what you know you need to be doing. Okay? Another quote I've heard around this that I think is really meaningful to this topic: we don't rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our training. So I thought this was good to share because things feel hard initially as you're doing them. Like, all change feels hard. There will be some things I share with you in this routine where you're like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. I could never, and I probably would have said the same thing about this list 5 years ago. But with practice and with consistency each day, it becomes your new normal. So now for me, those days where my emotions are like running wild and I do not feel like doing the things, this routine is so blueprinted now. I wouldn't even have to look at it, and I could just tell you my routine. It just happens because of that consistent dedication to living my best, to not saying yes to things too often that take away from that routine, but to making time for the things that matter. Of course, I love to meet my girlfriends for lunch and coffee, but it doesn't happen Monday through Wednesday because I have a real, batch focus to my week. That's what I do on Thursdays and Fridays. You know what I mean? So I figure out what am I committed to? Where am I moving the needle? And that helps me say no to more things that do not align with that, right? So I want to go through this with you. If you want to see this as I speak to it, you can hop over to that blog post. It's wholefit.com/blog/my daily routine. Okay. If you want to pull this up and see it a little bit clearer. So I separated it out for you, AM, mid, and PM. And I've been doing this routine now for probably 3 or 4 years. Pretty similar, like 90% of this has not changed. Really the format of it. And there's things that I'll be doing in a couple years that I'm not even thinking of right now, that will probably take me to another level. And I'm excited for that. They're just not in my awareness right now. Like there are certainly things where it's like, I should probably sleep more, or I should probably meditate more. There are things where I'm like saying that should word about. I think that's a bad word, but like when we're shoulding on things all the time and not actually doing the things, we probably don't need to be doing them anyway, because we obviously, feel that they're not really for us right now. But I have a feeling, my routine will look different in a couple of years. But anyway, let's get to it. So in the morning, I'm just going to run through this list. If you guys have live questions as I go, you can throw them up into the chat. It helps me if you put a heart before your question, or write in capital letters question, so I can actually see them as I'm scrolling through after. And then I do have your top questions that I posted in the queue on Monday, okay? Okay, so number 1, get up in the morning. the very first thing that I do is make my bed. If you actually Google make your bed on YouTube, it'll be the top video that comes up. That one little action really tees up a day of high momentum. It's shocking how that one little thing, and as I'm sharing these things, they're all really little, but they add up to this wave of momentum. So I get up and I make my bed. I open the blinds. I let the sun in. I will often run a load of laundry first thing in the morning. I water the diffusers and I water the green plants. We have green plants and diffusers all over our house. And what this is doing is it's helping me set up just a good feeling day, like a healthy day, right? Then I go to the bathroom, I scrape my tongue first thing. I use On Guard toothpaste and On Guard mouth rinse. I wash my face with Barrage. I use Yarrow Palm and Immortelle serum on my skin. And I do Rose Touch or Jasmine or Magnolia, one of the floral Doterra Touch bottles under my eyes and on my cuticles. Every single morning, it's like this beautiful, and I keep a nice glass platter in my bathroom so it looks pretty, it's inviting. And again, it's that self-care ritual. Oh my word, can I share something with you? Sidebar, but totally related to this. I was talking to somebody the other day about Doterra, and it was a girlfriend of mine. I said, you know what's interesting, what I realized through this work? Women who are drawn to using Doterra are super committed to giving their best to the world because they do not want to buy in anymore to the story of being last on the list. I want you to think about that for a second. This is kind of deep, okay? The very act of going and reaching for an essential oil, pure plant, pure gift of the earth, okay? And using that on your body as opposed to reaching for something that is keeping you clogged. Insert whatever harmful habit is in place at the time. The act of like reaching for those oils and especially starting your day that way is a testament to your commitment to showing up and being your best, to letting go of the old story of being sick and tired and low energy and not vibrant and not glowing. Some women are stuck in that state right now of they are so addicted to that story, they could never entertain the idea of using something natural, something that works and something that helps them show up bigger in their life. They're not ready for it. They're committed to that story of being stuck. Do you guys get that? Like, I find if I start my day using oils and having a nice routine for myself, the whole day changes. Moving on, I do a quick dry skin brush on my body, and then I use a body oil, and I always add in the morning Metabolic Blend, which is it's called Slim and Sassy or Smart and Sassy in Canada. It is like this minty tingle. It helps beautify the skin, okay? And I just love the way it feels. It's energizing, so I massage that in after I dry brush, and then I put Peppermint Touch on my temples always. If you ever come around me, I will likely smell like sandalwood and a peppermint patty, okay? Because I love peppermint. Then I start with 20 ounces of filtered water. I add a pinch of sea salt in the morning to balance electrolytes. And I always add 1 to 2 drops of a Doterra citrus oil for the limonene. My favorites are tangerine, lemon. I love the new green mandarin or grapefruit. Those are the ones I commonly use because they're high in limonene. I've been doing that for about 5 years. That, just starting off my day with water. And then I go on throughout the day to drink about 4 liters a day with a citrus oil. That is one of my, start there. If you don't know where to start and you want to have more health, glowing skin, help with every body system, start with your water intake and add a Doterra citrus oil for the limonene. Extremely cleansing. I take supplements in the morning, but only 1 Terrazyme and 1 Mito2 Max for clean energy in the morning. And taking a Terrazyme on an empty-ish stomach can be helpful to just break up some of the yeasts and anything that's residual from overnight metabolism and digestion that hasn't fully absorbed, okay? So I've been doing that for almost 5 years. Then my morning brew in the morning. This is, here's a tip for you. There is such a thing as decision fatigue. If you are getting up in the morning and it's a struggle right away, thinking about what you're gonna have for breakfast and what you're gonna wear for the day, that would be a good place for you to start, because what's happening is you are burning out. You are using your most precious decision-making energy in the morning towards things that you really could automate. So this is one example for me. I've been doing this again for a couple of years where I will brew a concoction. It's like brain fuel. It only has fats in it so that my body is working through some of the glycogen stores. And what I do is a cup of brewed organic coffee combined with a cup of either brewed shaga tea or something like Creo brew, like a brewed cacao. Then I add a tablespoon of organic butter, grass-fed butter, and I add a tablespoon of MCT oil, pure MCT oil. I add about a teaspoon of maca. If any of you feel like typing this out, go for it, but you don't need to. It's over on the blog. And then I will usually add a drop of Doterra peppermint or cinnamon or wild orange. I blend it up in my Vitamix. I put it into a thermos and I sip on that throughout the morning because as soon as the kids go off to school, they leave at about 8:30 for school. I sit down and I've got my brain brew and I take action on my top 3 priorities. So that's also on the list there. I create before I consume. I don't sit down and start consuming what everybody else is posting on social media. That would honestly be like sitting down in the morning and having a bag of potato chips for breakfast. That's like pure junk food. And if I start my day, I mean, I have fallen in that trap too, where I start looking on Instagram, my favorite place to be, and I start looking at what everyone else is doing. And then I do not feel like I have the energy to get into my own action. So I'd encourage you, if that's your story, to look at how you can create and take action on your top priorities for the day before you start consuming the candy of social media and comparison land, okay? So that can be really good to do first thing in the morning. I'm also, music and oils, they're like my 2 like absolutes. Like really the only time that music isn't playing in our house is right now when I'm recording this show and when we're sleeping. It is playing all day long, depending on what kind of mood we want to, tap into. And oils are diffusing depending on what kind of mood we want to tap into. I diffuse in the morning, first thing. I shared this on the ritual. Peppermint, wild orange, and frankincense is the typical brew. Then I'll often diffuse something in the afternoon, and then something after school, and then something at bed. So I don't have diffusers running all day, but pretty much. Okay, and then midday. So my typical flow is around 12 o'clock. So again, I haven't really eaten food yet. I've had that fatty brew. So I've had about 40, 45 grams of fat in the morning. That's what my body's running on and using as a fuel and energy source. Then I have a workout on an empty-ish stomach at around 12 o'clock. 30 minutes sweat. Sometimes it's running. Sometimes it's weights. Sometimes it's 30 minutes in the infrared sauna. And then I have a smoothie. Actually, still have some of my smoothie left from today. I gave you the recipe for it there. Then I take my midday supplements. So I take Lifelong Vitality Pack, 1 Terrazyme, 1 Mito2 Max, a deep blue polyphenol. Polyphenols are like food for the glow. And then I take a DDR Prime, healthy cells, right? Cells are constantly turning over. And the reason I was so specific with the rituals I have around supplementation and oils and food is because this also answers a lot of the questions I receive from you guys around how I personally have found my way to feel better as I've gotten older, to look younger as I've gotten older. I look at pictures of myself 10, 15 years ago. I look older then than I do now. And it is because of what I'm sharing with you, my routine. And again, when I first started this, I didn't always supplement. I started supplementing truly and consistently about 5 years ago. Before that, that was actually a big hurdle for me. I kept forgetting to take them. And so I had to really stick to that one thing for 2 to 3 weeks until it stuck. And now, like, there's not a day that goes by unless I'm traveling and I forgot to bring them in my bag on the plane. Even when I go meet friends for lunch, I'm like the weirdo with my pillowcase, taking my supplements because I'm not willing to drop down to a different state. My body works so well when it's properly supported. And once you have days like that, you don't want to have days where you're anything but that. Okay. So you protect those things that are really bringing out your best. Then I shower. I often will add some eucalyptus or rosemary to the shower floor. I exfoliate in the shower. I love exfoliating daily. That's what really gives you that glow as well. And then I spray my skin with that new doTERRA body mist. Oh, it's amazing. It smells so yummy, and it just gives you that really beautiful glow. And then I have like typically a big salad with some protein. So I've had greens in my smoothie, and then I'm having greens with my salad, or I'll have a soup. And some days I'm in a rush, so it's like sprouted toast with peanut butter. But that's when I will typically sit down and eat something nourishing. Then I go into my afternoon session of work. So typically from 1:30 until 3 or 3:30, that's where I'm often pouring out to people. That's where I'm often giving them my time a couple days a week. So I'll do group calls, podcast interviews, things like that. I'm diffusing in the afternoon. I like to do lavender, wild orange, and rosemary. And then here's a key thing I want to share with you. Before the kids come home, I have a ritual of closing down the day, because I do not want to take my work and my calendar with me in my mind when they come home. And if I have found, at least, if I don't have a ritual around shutting down the workday, because I work from home, then it's constantly up here following me around, and I'm not really present with the kids. So I close it down. I clear my desktop. I look at the next day. I look at the priorities that I have, what's on the calendar for tomorrow. So I'm clear on what I'm heading into. If there's anything I didn't get done from today, I figure out where it can be a priority tomorrow or the next day, or maybe not at all. The great thing about owning your own business, you decide. You decide what's important. And sometimes if you're just putting something off and it's constantly being transferred to a list on another day and another day and another day, it probably does not matter enough to you to do it. So maybe it needs to just come off for now. I also love to look at what I'm going to listen to tomorrow to develop my mindset. I love to do this. I will line up in my queue podcasts that look interesting to me. If I'm in the middle, I will listen to about 2 audiobooks a month. So it might be a couple chapters from an audiobook. But I line that up because that gets me excited about the next day. And I listen to those podcasts in the morning when I'm doing my creative work, or when I'm, working out or in the kitchen or whatever. After I close down my workday, shut down my computer, I prep for after school snacks. I shared this on Instagram yesterday. If they have school the next day, I like to make the lunches at that point while I'm prepping a snack for the kids. So again, I'm getting ready for to transition. Kids are coming home. I don't want to take my work with me. And I do have days like recording day on Wednesday. It's a little bit of a longer day for me. So I'll get their snack ready because I know I got to come back up and do a little bit of editing and show stuff. But I try my best when they come home to be present. Then at nighttime, we probably eat at home, honestly, 5 to 6 nights a week. We're together in the kitchen. I think that's really important. I've shared this before, that I don't pack our schedule with anything at night through the week. Not for the kids, rarely for us, because I value that time so much with them, that they come home and they feel that our home is peaceful and that I feel organized. That really matters to me, to have that time with them where we're not running all over the place. I don't want that kind of life. So I don't say yes to sports and music lessons and all those things after school. I think if you can fit it in and that's something that is feeling good for you right now with your kids, great. But again, only you know that. Only you know if it's working or not. So they come home from school. We're in the kitchen. We have like an open concept kitchen. So, Chris and I are usually in the kitchen with them. They're working on some homework. We're prepping dinner. We're just hanging out. We're there together. I love to diffuse On Guard and peppermint together when they come home from school, to just knock out like Pac-Man, anything that they might have brought home with them from school. Again, music, my favorite to listen to while we're prepping dinner. I love to put on some old school like Sinatra or Bublé or Josh Groban, or I have this playlist. If you go to the music section of my website, I have all my playlists there for you guys. Did you know that? Yeah, we could be like old school mixtapes together, right? I made you mixtapes. I have one on there called Table Tunes. It's just a nice playlist for when you're chilling and eating and hanging out in the kitchen. Supplements at night with dinner, just to go over these really quick with you. Lifelong Vitality Pack again. So I take it at lunch and dinner with food. A Terrazyme again, DDR Prime again, and then I take PB Assist, which is a probiotic. I take it at night. It's even better if you can take it at night before bed, not necessarily with food, so that it's not competing with digestion. So that, you know, Doterra's, for example, is a very high quality one because it's double encapsulated. It has a prebiotic fiber along with the probiotic. It actually looks pretty like alien-like, futuristic if you look at the pill, but it's intended to make it to the intestines. A lot of probiotics die in the stomach, but you'll give it a better chance if you take it at night on an empty-ish stomach. Okay, so if you can think of that, then I just wanted to give you that tip. After supper, kitchen cleanup. I'm pretty obsessive about this. I do not want to wake up the next morning to a messy kitchen. Just one of my things. So the sink has to be empty. I want the dishwasher loaded. I'll often do a real quick vacuum with the Dyson, just like 2 minutes, zip through the kitchen. I want everything clean for the next morning. I think about breakfast the next day. If there's anything I want to get out, I will set up the coffee maker on a timer so it's ready to go. You know, I'm always trying to practice that forward thinking so that I can truly, you know, once I transition to the next moment or block of time, I can be very focused and present with that, whatever I'm doing, right? So I'm not carrying all this thinking and stress with me. Kitchen cleanup. While that's happening, the kids go up and have, every single night, they have a lavender Epsom bath. Epsom salts, baking soda, a couple drops of lavender into a little squeeze of Doterra's natural body wash. They sit in the bath for 10, 15 minutes while we're cleaning up the kitchen. Then we do a little routine with them at night. So we get their clothes out for school for the next day. We read books. We've got sleepy oils diffusing like Serenity Blend or Peace Blend. Those are our go-tos. For me personally, I'll have a bath a couple nights a week. If you search hashtag WholeFitBath, you'll find a lot of different concoctions that I do with Epsom salts, baking soda, always as the base, and then different oil combinations. And then we shut her down around 9 o'clock. So some nights, you know, Chris and I will watch Netflix, totally into House of Cards now that it's back again. Love that show. But a couple nights a week, I will do some later night work. And the reason I wanted to share this with you, I talked about the importance of creating before you consume. But I'm no different than anybody else. I love to consume sometimes, and I love to just have open-ended, creative time where I'm tweaking my website or tweaking programs or creating pretty pictures for social media, for programs I have coming up or whatever that might look like. I don't do that in the morning though, not during my high action time. I'll do that a couple nights a week where I might stay up till 11:30, even midnight sometimes, and just work away on some things that I wanted to give some extra time to. And then the last thing I wanted to share was I diffuse typically every night sandalwood on its own. It's like my favorite, just on its own. I love it, but it also combines well with anything else you're diffusing. Or I'll do bergamot and arbor vitae. I don't know if you guys have tried that combo before, but I love it at night. So to quickly recap that, you can see all of this at that blog post. If you go to my blog, I just posted it today. And then of course, all of the supplements I mentioned and all the essential oils are Doterra, if you had that question. So here's two things I want to point you towards on the topic of today, and then I'll take a look at your questions. In the Beautiful Life Blueprint that I did with you last year, one of the exercises in there was to construct your day in the life, okay? So I've linked that in the blog post for you. If you feel like it's time to design a new day, maybe you're not feeling so great in your body, maybe you've had really loose boundaries with your time, take it back. Time is all we have, right? And if we're always giving it to people and to things that truly do not mean much to us in the long run, to our goals, to the life we want to live, there are seasons to things. There are seasons to friendships, right? There are seasons to things that you commit yourself to. So if they're not working anymore, it's time to take a look at that and design a new day. The one other thing, I'm not going to go into detail today, but I also have my week blocked out. I've shared with you the theme or focus for each day of the week. And a lot of what I've shared with you today comes from my personal experience of working from home, I realize that many of you work a full-time job, and what I've shared with you is not realistic. But what I want you to take from this is what's possible. Maybe that is what your why is right now, is to be able to create something that allows you to be at home and to truly design your day. But also that you can construct a morning and an evening ritual for yourself that helps you tap into being your best. That is something we can all do. And again, this is what defines somebody who's leading their life or being run by their life. And if you can lead that portion and pay attention to how you're feeling and the things that you're giving your time to, you're leading your life. And then you'll be given more. You'll be given, responsibilities and recognition and money and all the, everything that you see at that next level will come to you because you're demonstrating a strong sense of leadership over your time. Ooh, okay. Let me pull up your questions from the Facebook page. I'm just scrolling through some of the live questions, what you guys have shared here. Yeah, Rita said she takes her supplements in the morning. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying on an empty stomach. The supplements that I mentioned I take on an empty stomach, you can. Lifelong Vitality, for example, you won't want to take on an empty stomach. It'll make you pretty nauseous. It needs to be taken with food. What type of workout do I do? Whatever I feel like. To be honest, I just focus on sweating every day if I can for 30 minutes. It can be great. I was just talking to a friend of mine this morning about signing up for a local class once a week. I switch things up in the winter. I love hot yoga, so I try to get to a hot yoga class on the weekend. But other than that, I go with pretty much how I'm feeling. Sometimes it's a walk. I love to run because I love to be outdoors. Hey, Lynn, yes, I take DDR Prime all the time, every day, unless I'm doing Doterra's Cleanse and Restore Kit, because then there's a different soft gel you're taking for 20 days of the month, and you don't want to have too many hot oils internally at the same time. So other than that, yes. Drennan, I don't clean my diffusers very often. I always find I can tell if they need a good clean. But it doesn't often carry, there are some oils like sandalwood and patchouli, because of the type of terpenes that are in them, they have a strong base. Or vetiver, right? If you've ever diffused vetiver, you probably will never forget it because it's always lingering around unless you clean your diffuser. So awesome. You guys love the playlist. I love sharing those with you. I feel like it's like high school again. It's fun. Like the good part of high school. Yes, take supplements with food, just scrolling through your live questions. Good stuff, you guys. Love your comments. You guys have shared some cool things with each other as well when it comes to your own routines. So love reading those. All of these comments over on Facebook will stay up if you guys want to hop over and see some of the things they're saying on here. Love it. Sue asked, Ange, how did you find the discipline if you did not find it naturally? Yeah, that's what I'm speaking to. Discipline does not come to me naturally. So I had to create first a blueprint for a day that felt really good to me. Because if it doesn't feel good, you're probably not going to do it. Somebody who's strong in discipline will do things even if it doesn't feel good. So that's how I tapped into this. So from the outside looking in, I look like a very disciplined person, right? But that's because of my commitment to the plan that I created for myself, which is also why I could never work for somebody else, because I could never go into an office and just do all the things for someone else that didn't feel, like high vibe to me, that wasn't, fulfilling or meaningful work to me. So I don't know, maybe there's something to that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the most disciplined people in the world make really great employees. I've never read any study on that, but I'm just thinking off the top. Great comments. Okay, let me hop over to the main questions, the most liked questions from the post. So Johanna asked, what did your morning and evening rituals look like when you had younger kids in the house that weren't at school yet? What rituals did you do with them? What did you do solo? Have the rituals changed as the girls got older? Yeah, absolutely. Like my brother, they have 2.5-year-old twins. They like their life is crazy right now. And I often remind him, like, look, when they go to school, your whole life is going to change. And right now, it's all about survival. And so, you know, you have to, there are those seasons, especially with kids, where they're only going to be that age once. And I think the most important thing, especially for mothers, is honestly, you need to figure out where you're going to take that time for you. Because if you don't, the whole thing does feel heavier. So even if it's just getting up 10 minutes earlier, and I mean, I know it's a gong show and the kids are little, having a regular schedule can be really tricky. So you have to have a commitment to finding those pockets of time, to saying, you know, that you're going to do one thing this hour, one little thing. It could be just rolling on some balance blend and just sitting there and breathing deep and choosing into a higher state. It could be that one little thing, but it's that commitment to topping up your cup, even in the littlest way, so that you can give a little bit of a better state of yourself. But yes, things change. Once the kids went to school, I found this whole thing was very easy to implement. Before then, I just tried to find the time where I could. Vanessa said she's a mom of 2 young kids. She works Monday to Friday. She's also building her Doterra business in the early stages. She's finding it hard to have evening rituals. So she's pretty good at getting up early, fitting in her workout and all the things. But when it comes to after work, she feels like it's a whirlwind from the time they get up. So, you know what my best advice is, if you're feeling like things are going off track at home, that's a team focus, right? Have a meeting as a team, meet with your spouse, involve your kids if they're of an age where they understand what you're saying, and decide how you can get better together. All of this, mama, does not fall on your shoulders. Decide what you want to feel in your home. So, I mean, I've mentioned this a few times today. I'm very committed to having peace in our home, to it feeling cozy and warm and loving and having nourishing foods. And those things are very important to me. So if I have a day where my time has been stretched too much, and honestly, that's how I began using the crock pot so much. You see me posting about it all the time. I do that because I don't want to be in the kitchen all day long, but I want those smells in my home. I want the kids to come home from school and smell that yummy dinner being made. And it saves me so much time, right? So, you know, you just got to look at it sometimes and think, well, okay, tomorrow's a fresh start. What can I do different? But involve the family. This does not all fall on your shoulders. And I think, again, that's a trap that women and mothers, that we fall into. We tell ourselves that story of like, we have to take it all on ourselves. I think you'll be surprised at how, especially if your kids are older, if they're in school, you know, and they're starting to really develop and have more responsibilities, they'll want to be part of this conversation and think about what they want to create, what they want to feel like in their home, and how they can help with that, okay? Okay, I'll do one more question here. Let me just see. Some of these I've answered already. Okay, it was actually a comment, and everything else I've already answered. Instagram, let me just show you a little bit of love. Let's see what you're saying over here. Somebody said, please share more healthy crock pot recipes. Can I share something really sweet? Just before I started building Doterra, I was working on an ebook. It was a crock potting ebook called Rock the Crock. And it's just one of those things I just haven't held as a priority in creating, but I have a lot of great recipes. I don't like spending a ton of time in the kitchen. So I love anything that helps me, like I shared, have healthy food and have it faster. So one of the things I will point you to, if you go to the recipes section of WholeFit, I have a lot of those recipes on there. So my thing is, it's got to be healthy, it's got to be whole foods, and it's got to be fast. So that's everything I do, I run through that lens when it comes to food. Right on. Casey's getting up early, making it happen. That can be a big deal. Just that 10 minutes in the morning even. Okay, last question. April, What's your tip for staying on track when on vacation and returning home? I find I tend to fall off the wagon during or after trips. Well, okay, go over and check out my blog post I did on traveling healthy. I share with you my ceremony of everything I bring with me when I travel. Because again, that's another example. Like, I'm not willing to feel that way when I travel. I want to try to feel my best and stay healthy. So maybe that's what you want to look at. However, in saying that, sometimes that's exactly what a vacation should be, is a chance for you to just unplug from the routine. Because when you come home, you can reset, start a new normal for yourself. Okay. All right, we're going to end for today. So I will not be on live next week, but I will see you guys back the week following to talk about how to own a phone, how to function in today's day of noise and everything coming at us. Thanks for joining live, you guys. We'll get this uploaded as a podcast tomorrow. And I hope today was helpful. It's one of my favorite topics. Bye, you guys.